Engine price update. Let's get into it. So Chris, today we are going to be taking a cheeky look at the ENJIN coin. We're going to have a look at this on the daily chart, the 4-hourly chart, and the 1-hourly chart. We're going to get into all of the technicals around this project, and we're going to see what's going on with the price action of this ENJIN coin. It has seen pretty decent rally today, Chris, taking out that 2.618 area. So as we get into this, guys, if you do find this video useful and informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you're wanting to learn more about those hidden gems and new cryptocurrencies that we talk about here on the channel, then do consider subscribing. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here at Cheeky Crypto. It is free and you'll stay well informed, so why not? And Chris, before we jump down to the charts, is there anything else you would like to kind of leave us with before we get into this?
Yeah, I was just going to ask the viewers watching, what do you think the price is going to be for ENJIN at the peak of the bull run? Really interested to know.
Absolutely. Right, let's jump on down to the charts, Chris, and get into this.
Yeah, let's do it.
And obviously, Chris, as we go through this price update for the ENJIN coin, it's going to be pretty important to talk about when to take profits, because I know that's a hot topic within our Telegram group at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very hot topic, and rightly so. I think it's really important to take profits in the bull run. Let's make sure that nobody sort of gets caught short, like in 2017.
Absolutely right. So let's get into this chart and see exactly what's going on. Right. So we have a Fibonacci retracement on here. And it starts from our low level of the 23rd of February. We actually had that rally go all the way up here. We kind of thought this was the high, but we didn't actually have a decent retracement. Sorry, this bit here was the high. We didn't actually have a pretty decent retracement. So the high comes in at the 4th of March, and we actually came down only to the 618, and we rallied straight from there. We got into this area here with a slight back test on the previous high, and it was on the 14th of March that we actually officially took out that 1.618 area on the Fibonacci extension zones. And from there, we had traded backwards a little bit into here. We had a back test that then a little bit of a rally and failed back through, back into that 1.618 area, right? And we've been kind of bouncing around here for a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is to start things off, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our price range to start with, right? So from this price range here to that previous high, on the Fibonacci, that was a 375% move. And what I'll do is I'll make it really easy. We'll get that date range as well. So going from that low point there up to our high point here, 371% rally in 9 days, which is a pretty significant move. Now, obviously, from there, we rallied much higher. And if I grab this again, we can say that actually from the point of our 618 low, which is on the 6th of March here, we then took this and we rallied it up to this point here. And that actually took, Chris, let me just make sure I get that into exactly the right area there. We just pull that. There we go. So that was another 189% rally within another 9 days. Now, we obviously traded sideways before we had the most recent price action here. And if I grab this, we'll just throw that on there so we can see how many days that took. So 22 days sideways trading. Okay. So we've actually seen quite a lot of action with the ENJIN coin. It hasn't exactly been very static for a long period of time at all. We had that initial 9-day period here, followed by a 2-day cooling off period, followed by another 9-day rally to the upside. Then we followed that with an additional 22 days. And then from here, we've actually had a pretty good run again. And what I'll do is I'll grab another price range, and we're going to grab it from our low point here to where we got to today, which would be about there. So another 71% in the last 48 hours. Okay, so things are heating up here with the ENJIN coin quite nicely. And we have actually taken out that 2.618 area on that Fibonacci, okay? And that's the extension level. So that's the second price target that we have here for the ENJIN coin. So it's doing incredibly well. And, we taking out that key area up here at $3.44 was obviously a huge milestone. And obviously, once you achieve that, you are going to be seeing traders potentially take some profit off. So you're seeing an immediate kind of pullback. But that's also because we're entering a world of overbought as well. So lots of traders will see all of those things. We have the 50 moving average here, the 100 over here, and the 200 down here. So we're quite a distance away from the average price on all those levels, the 50, the 100, and the 200 moving averages. Now, the volumes have spiked up, and if they continue like this, we can continue that rally to the upside. But let's see what the 4-hour chart is showing us, right? So in this 4-hourly chart, we can see that we were oversold, right? We had that huge kind of come down here below all of the average lines, so below the 50 moving average, the 100 moving average, and the 200 moving average, which is all down here. That actually made us oversold. So there's only one place to go when you're at rock bottom, Chris, and that's to the upside. And that's kind of what we saw today, right? So we had this achieved up right at the top end, and a recent pullback with the volumes actually decreasing, and it's becoming selling volume. So what you can see is they clearly hit a price target, and they're pulling it right back down. Okay, and that's just trading. That's what happens. You have your buy and sell orders all kind of lined up, ready to go. And you know all of these key areas because you're doing your technical analysis, and you know where you're aiming for, right? So ultimately here you can see this, and then obviously within the last sort of 4 hours, we actually I did another test on that 2.618 area, and it's still pulling down right now. So that's quite a healthy thing to expect. We again are overbought, so we're going to expect a bit of a correction. What we want to do is have that volume nice and low so it protects that price so that we can gear it up ready for the next move. So nothing is worrying me here on this particular chart. The volumes are decreasing, which is expected. And we obviously are above the average once again on this 4-hourly chart. So we went from below average to above average, okay? And obviously from oversold to overbought, okay? So we're in pretty much two extremes here, right? We've basically been way over, under average on price token, and then obviously being oversold. Too many people have been selling it. And then obviously from that, all those traders, all that AI out there is like, right, well, this token's primed to basically move up, right? So they'll all buy it. And with that, they'll know approximately what targets they're going for. And then you're getting a trigger up here saying that it's overbought and therefore trying to sell and take some profit. So that's exactly what's going on in that particular 4-hour chart. Now, if we take a look at the hourly, it shows us pretty much the same thing, right? We can see here we have the 50 moving average, the 100 moving average, and the 200 moving average. They're all up here. We can see that there's a whole section of candles here that are below average, right? And that is taking us from this mid-range on our RSI down to oversold, okay? And obviously when we're oversold, there's only one place to go. That's to the upside. And we can see that right up here, right? So we had this huge rocket moving the price to the upside. And again, that volume really spiked up here. That was the first trigger to buy. And then the volumes come down, but we were rallying the price still up, right? So we had lots of positive volume coming in here as people were then FOMOing in to a degree. They can see that things were getting corrected, we're above average, and price continued to rally to the upside. And then once we get that price target get hit, the guys that were buying at the front here were potentially selling up this end, and you can see that from the huge selling spikes here, and that's decreasing the volumes coming down. Now people are holding their bags thinking, what's going on? But ultimately we were overbought, right? So that triggers that, and we hit that price target, becomes overbought. It's an obvious thing that you're going to get a bit of a retracement. For me, looking at this, I'm going to say that you're going to be looking at somewhere between that $3.09 section. That's probably your low point right there. So one to watch out for if there's more of a correction. But looking at this pattern here since, the last few hours, right, we can see here that actually we've been kind of just trading up here like this for a while, right? So we could potentially do a rinse and repeat scenario that we see on a few other charts. So ultimately the volumes are continuing to be quite high, and they're much higher than they were over here. Then we could end up, because we're no longer overbought, pull the price back up into that overbought area, pull it back down, pull it up, pull it down, pull it up, pull it down, and so forth, and just rinse and repeat all of that scenario. And that will actually help push the price above our price target up here as well. So things are looking very interesting on this chart, Chris, on the hourly, on the 4-hourly, and the daily. They're all looking pretty good. Nothing that's worrying me too much. These are quite healthy kind of moves that you're seeing here. Basically, there's obvious stuff going on here. You're oversold, you're going to go up. You're overbought, you're going to go down. And nothing worries me there. If we pull this back up into our daily, we can basically now start thinking of it, where would we take profits, right? Because we missed potentially that opportunity up there, unless you were really watching and you knew that your 2.618 area, your $3.44 was your sell zone, in which case you were going to potentially pre-set that up, and you're exiting there and you're going to buy back later, then you may have missed it. What was your next target? What's your exit strategy? Well, for me, it's always been that third price target. That third price target is always the key one for me personally. I personally think that going straight to that top end of your Fibonacci extensions is the risky. It may happen, it may not happen, right? But I like to think that that third price target, that 3.618 area, is pretty much, a good zone to be aiming for. So the second one's come in. That's great, but I'm still aiming for this one here. Now, I'm not a trader, so I just hodl it. I buy it, hodl it. When my price targets come in, that's where I start taking those profits. Now, obviously, this area here, normally I do recommend, Chris, and I think you're the same, kind of sell on the way up, right? Have kind of key percentages of your bag that you sell at certain price points. So this 2.618 area would have been a certain percentage had I been paying attention. So I haven't been selling, but ultimately that would have been like maybe 10% of my bag at that point, followed by maybe another 50% up at this point here. And then if it continued to rally, then I would potentially, continue to sell. But Chris, is that your kind of strategy as well?
Yeah, that's exactly my strategy, Nick. Again, I haven't sold either. It's been really busy, in and out of meetings all day. So it's one of those. I kind of feel like I'm just going to wait until the next price point gets taken out, and that'll be the point.
Absolutely. So we're looking at like $4.62. That's probably the area that we're going to be looking at. And normally what I say is you don't aim exactly for those things. If I grab a horizontal ray, for example, I might say, actually, there's a good point, or there's a good point up here, right? So I try not to go exactly to it. And try to aim for around it, right? So you can get it beforehand. That way, you're not going to be disappointed. So you come in at 450 rather than 462, or go in at like 477, just over egg it a little bit, something like that. But ultimately, yeah, that's the kind of the strategy that I'd be applying here with the ENJIN coin. But I'm really impressed with everything it's done. Ultimately, this thing could have been. We could have got in much earlier than we did, Chris, and we could have potentially seen significant gains, in which case I would have been potentially paying more attention to this particular price point. But because these are relatively small bags for us, we don't really tend to focus on these ones so much. But nonetheless, that's my next price point, that 3.618. I would probably go in a little bit lower than that. Like I said, 450 seems like a sensible area. I'd probably be aiming for that. That price zone to potentially take some profits for this one. So looking interesting, the chart's looking good. I think there's still huge potential in this. It's still got a long way to go. But yeah, try to sell it high, buy some back, at least recoup your initial investment's always the good strategy to have. But Chris, is there anything else you would like to add before we sign this video off?
No, I think you've pretty much covered it, Nick. Yeah. Bullish. Looks great.
Fantastic. So guys, if you have found this video useful, informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate that. And of course, if you want to learn more about those hidden gems, new cryptocurrencies, then do consider subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with everything we do here at Geeky Crypto. It is free and you will stay well informed. So why not? And with that being said, we hope everyone has a fantastic day and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.